ratings, she's directly responsible. And people were resenting her for it, like she was the cause of the problems that they had for the lack of recognition. No, she just happened to be born white. That's it. Caitlin Clark hasn't spoken against anybody. She hasn't assisted in denying anybody else the privileges they deserve. If anything, she's tried to provide assistance. A rising tide lifts all boats. She's trying to be the rising tide that lifts the boats.
Listen carefully. Stephen A. Smith didn't whisper it. He didn't hint at it. He said it loud on national television. Caitlin Clark just changed the entire game. And not everyone in that room could handle it. Silence slammed the desk. Eyes shifted. And Molly, she froze. Before this goes any further, if you respect real greatness, tap like, drop a comment, because this moment, you're witnessing history. This wasn't just another sports debate. This wasn't hot take TV. This was Stephen A. Smith drawing a line. Nike numbers were already circulating behind the scenes. Executives were watching, media rooms were buzzing. Then the confirmation hit. Stephen A. leaned forward, looked straight at Molly, and said what many were afraid to admit. Here's what changed everything.
No, Molly, you did not say that, Molly. No,
no,
that
is what you said.
That's not what you said, Molly.
What are you guys
that is not what you said.
I literally just brought it up.
You were talking about folks making the point that, at the time that they had picked the Olympic team, Caitlin Clark didn't necessarily deserve it based on her play on the court. When the point that Shannon and I was making at the time was that, wait a minute, in the end, there are people that have ended up on Team USA.
Caitlin Clark's new Nike deal didn't just do well. It shattered expectations. Sources inside sports marketing said it quietly at first. Sales jumped. Online traffic spiked. Merchandise moved fast, faster than projected. This wasn't hype, not fake buzz. Real money, real demand. Nike didn't choose Caitlin Clark by accident. They chose her because people show up when her name is attached.
You're not listening, Molly. You're not listening. I'm talking about your point, Molly. Your point.
And I'm explaining it to you.
At the end of the day, we were making the point. Do you want to promote the league or not? And people like Andrea and others were resistant to that playing a role in somebody making the roster for Team USA. And we were saying, hell with that. You want to promote the sport. You put that girl up in there, and people were appalled at that notion. That was the subject.
But Stephen A., this is just going to come from different perspectives, because you all's initial point was a marketing point, and that was what I was arguing with. That was what I was arguing with.
Right.
The marketing point for Caitlin. What Molly is trying to say, and what I agree with, is now that we have seen how Caitlin finished this season, there is a good basketball argument for her being on the team.
That's not politics. That's business. This is where the temperature changed. Molly questioned the impact. She questioned the scale. She questioned whether Caitlin was being overpushed. Stephen A. snapped, calmly but sharply. Not yelling, not screaming. Worse, he explained it slowly, like you explain facts to someone who doesn't want to hear them. And that's when the room shifted. Stephen A. made it clear. You can debate style, you can debate preferences, but you cannot debate results, ticket demand, TV ratings, Nike sales, social media engagement. Caitlin Clark wasn't just playing basketball. She was moving the culture, and that makes people uncomfortable. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. When one player becomes bigger than the system pushes back. Not openly, not directly, but subtly. Side comments. Dismissive takes, constant. Yeah, but Stephen A. saw it, and he called it out. That's why the tone changed. While debates were happening on TV, Caitlin Clark was doing the one thing that shuts everyone up.
Be resentful of the folks, primarily the white folks, who basically disenfranchised y'all all of these years before she came along, who denied you the acclaim and the allure and the profits you richly deserved. But you don't take that out on Caitlin Clark. Not her. She's the one that assists you. When black folks was marching during the civil rights era and fighting every battle they possibly could, they weren't dismissive nor did they assist in denigrating the white people who marched with them. They saved the venom for those who wouldn't.
Playing deep shots, pressure moments, crowds reacting before the ball even left her hands. You could feel it. Opponents knew it. Fans knew it. Sponsors definitely knew it. This wasn't manufactured. It was undeniable. Stephen A. made one final point that ended the argument. Brands don't invest millions based on feelings. They invest based on impact. Nike didn't guess. They tracked. They measured. And they committed. That's why Caitlin Clark's deal hit differently. It wasn't just big. It was inevitable. This wasn't about Molly. This wasn't about one segment. This was about confirmation. Caitlin Clark is no longer up next. She's not promising. She's here. And once that happens, the conversation changes. Some celebrate, some resist. But the game moves forward anyway.
Great, and I'm incredibly proud to join some of the best athletes in the world. I'm excited to share a first look at what we've created together. Y'all should have did this. We're going into year 3. Y'all should have did this year 1. Year 1. Let's take a look at the ad.
Hey, Caitlin! Can you make it from there?
She shot it from the other house.
Hey, Caitlin, how about from here?
Come on, guys.
Yeah, she can't make it from there. No chance.
Caitlin, conmigo, let. You got it.
Oh, they got Mama Bluter in here. Yeah, this is fire. Y'all got Travis Kelce them in there, and y'all.
Stephen A. ended it with body language, not words. He leaned back, stopped debating, stopped explaining, because there was nothing left to prove. The deal was done. The moment had passed. And Caitlin Clark, she didn't say a word. She didn't need to. This wasn't hype. This wasn't favoritism. This was recognition. Caitlin Clark didn't ask for the spotlight. She earned it. And now the world is adjusting, some faster than others. And here's what made it impossible to ignore. Every arena felt different the moment she crossed half court. The noise didn't wait for the shot. It arrived before the release. Defenders pressed tighter. The coaches adjusted earlier. Broadcasters leaned in. This wasn't coincidence. This was gravity. Stephen A. didn't need another stat sheet to see it. He felt it. The league felt it. And the brands felt it too. Momentum like this doesn't need protection. It creates its own lane. That's why the conversation stopped being about opportunity and started being about reality. Caitlin Clark wasn't being pushed forward. She was pulling everything with her. Numbers followed. Attention followed. Resistance followed too. That's always how it goes. But moments like this don't reverse. They don't slow down. They don't ask permission. They keep moving, and everyone else adjusts.